And I'm going to appeal to Nigerians, including those who have lost faith in the country, in the unity of Nigeria. To promote debates, and to challenge anti-democratic forces that make it impossible for people to express themselves, that make it impossible for people to enjoy their freedom of movement, even freedom to remain alive. Those who give shoot on sight orders, those who engage in extrajudicial killing of our people, those who say that you cannot have access to Twitter. A government that says that Nigerians cannot move freely in the country. And a government that has made it impossible for people to sleep with their eyes closed all over the country. For me, such a government has to be fought to stand still. Otherwise, even if you break it up, the members of the ruling class, visionless members of the ruling class, will become the new overlords in the mini republics. But what did the ruling class do? And I'm talking of the ruling class constituted by all members of the different ethnic groups and religious persuasions, is to ensure that the provisions of chapter 2 are not justiciable, they are not realizable. So for the majority of our people, the masses of our people, our duty is to mobilize them, to organize them, to shake off poverty, to demand for their rights under chapter 2 of the Constitution, and to make those rights justiciable.
This looks difficult with Buhari. This looks very difficult with President Buhari, especially as they even clamp down on protesters.
The struggle for freedom is not a child's play. As Chairman Mao said, a revolution is not a dinner party. You know, I mean, for instance, last year, scores of people were killed in October last year during the NSAS protests. But yesterday, you had more protests across the country. Not a single person was killed. And already you see a statement today demanding for apology for those who were arrested, because under Section 83, subsection 4 of the Police Establishment Act 2020, the police shall provide adequate security during protests, peaceful protests. And what happened in different parts of the country yesterday had nothing to do with violence. Young people, aggrieved Nigerians, organized peaceful protests, even when they were provoked by the police or police personnel who threw tear gas at them and brutalized some of the protesters. They didn't engage in any form of violence. And so we are going to win these struggles ultimately once we are consistent, once we are united, once we are organized. And as is often said, a people united can never be defeated. One would like to advise President Muhammadu Buhari to appreciate the quality of our people, and then respect all ethnic groups in the country. To describe what is going on in the Southeast as a dot in a circle is extremely insulting. Violence is going on all over the country. The war on terror has been waged since 2009. Yet, no president in the country has ever dismissed the people in the Northeast. So if violence has broken out in a section of the East, it cannot be a basis to declare a war on the entire region, to allow security forces to kill gunmen and innocent people and unarmed people. No, it cannot be tolerated in any civilized society. I was also flabbergasted when the president said the governor of Lagos, Governor Jide Sanwo-Olu, met him in Abuja and showed photographs of, carnage and buses that were burned, and that yes, let Lagosians walk. I beg your pardon. No, you don't insult a people that way. Again, as I said, President Buhari simply wants to remind Lagosians that it was his military regime that cancelled the Metro Line project without any basis. So if we had had the Metro Line project, the transportation crisis in Lagos would have long disappeared. With all the economic implications. And the president must not allow people to constantly accuse him of sectionalism. This regime has established the Northeast Commission. You have the Niger Delta Development Commission, just like you have the Northeast Development Commission. So the same government that funds those institutions has a duty to fund the development of Lagos or other regions. Oh yes. In 2011, there was a violent protest in 12 states. 11 states in the north and 1 state in the south, Akwa Ibom, over the belief, unsubstantiated belief, that the presidential candidate of the CPC then, General Muhammadu Buhari, won the election. There was violence all over the place. But the general was not held vicariously liable. Yet, the Jonathan administration compensated victims to the tune of 10 billion naira. So if the federal government can compensate or could compensate victims of a political riot in the north, in the running of the government, equals must be treated equally. The victims of the violence in Lagos last year ought to have been compensated. And they can make a case for compensation under the law. Because it is the duty of the government to prevent rioters from causing damage in Lagos and other parts of the country. So if you fail as a government in preventing riots or destruction of property during riots, you have to compensate victims. That's the law in Nigeria. I'm going to appeal to the president, you know, to learn to treat the people of Nigeria equally and operate the government. Ensure that the government is operated under the rule of law.